What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, NVIDIA, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. And break down some very important levels to be watching for how the market's looking, as we're going to be closing in about 1.5 hours from now. But let me first mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, now I want to break down what's happening so far. So as you guys can see, the market ended up seeing some interesting data from the ISM release. This was actually not that great. Business activity is slowing in the economy. Employment is starting to contract. New orders are also slowing down. So that's showing lots of signs of contraction for the services sector. And that makes up a big part of our GDP. So there is some weakness in the economy. However, services prices are still going down, which is still good for disinflation. So once again, some parts of it were kind of good, but for the most part, the data was showing lots of weakness in this economy. Despite that, the market still ended up holding up and even pushed a bit after the data has come out. And now we're seeing a lot of stocks kind of chopping around. So we're seeing a lot of choppy price action right now. Later on during the day, we have the FOMC minutes coming out at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's going to be after market close for today. The market's going to be closing today, as a reminder, at about 1 o'clock p.m. So please be prepared for that just in case. And we'll have to see how things go from here. So for SPY, I just want to say that right now we're in a very, very critical place. We pushed all the way up to 550.5, the exact level of resistance we had called out. I'll be watching to see, can we break 550.5 or do we get a rejection? This is going to be very important. So watch this resistance. Let me show you on the 4-hour time frame what I'm talking about. So right here, when you zoom out, you guys could see SPY is at this very, very critical resistance right now. Notice how, we rejected many times. I'm going to change the color so you can see this better. Let's make this blue. See the blue line up here? You guys can see SPY rejected 1, 2, and then 3 times from this level. And simultaneously, if we do break this, then there is potential for it to start pushing up higher. So we're still at this tight resistance. We have to see if we could break past 550.5 or not. If we break it, I'll be looking for 552 and 555. If you reject off 550.5, we'll be coming back down to 548.5 and 547. So I'll be watching this very, very carefully. I personally don't know exactly what's going to happen. I would say just wait and see. And the reason for that is because if I'm going to be frank with everyone, the data, should have caused the market to dip, at least based off fundamentals. The data was not good. And despite that, the market's still holding up. So that's showing signs that it's very resilient. And there's a lot of strong buyers still stepping in. So I'm going to be very, very optimistic, very, very mindful of the fact that, the market could just do what it has to do. And that you could still trade very well regardless of which way it goes. But I just want to say that just watch this resistance on SPY, the QQQ, and the others. And we will see what ends up happening from here. Break 550.5 once again, and we turn bullish. If we reject here, we're going to be coming back down. I'm going to be waiting at least for now. For NVIDIA is trying to break out of this little flag we have right here. So this is looking more bullish. I'll be watching to see if we can try to get up to about this 127 area. We're testing 126 as resistance. Break that, we have 127 next, and then 130 comes after that. If we reject, I'll be looking at 125 as support, followed by 122.8. Overall, we're holding up quite well on NVIDIA. We have more upside potential. We'll have to give this some time just to see what we end up doing. So be very, very patient, very, very mindful of this, and we'll have to see if we can get a bounce or not. But overall, NVIDIA is trying to break out, showing some life, showing some strength, and it's doing a good job so far. So I do see some more upside potential, at least for the share price. And overall, it's not bad whatsoever. And I also want to note that for Bitcoin ended up actually dipping to about the 60,000 area. We're still trying to hold it. We're still shuffling around here. So I would say that the best move to do is just be very, very patient and see if Bitcoin gets some kind of rejection or not. Overall, I'm not really too worried. We're still holding up. So we will see if Bitcoin does end up losing this support right here, then we're going to be looking for a dip all the way back down to much lower levels, such as the 58,000 range. If we bounce here, we're going to be looking for a rebound. So overall, Bitcoin is holding up quite well. For NVIDIA, I already talked about NVIDIA. Sorry about that. We're doing well. For the QQQ, this is actually trying to break out right now. We have a nice cup and handle like structure. If we continue to break out right here, as long as we're above 484, like I said, we're looking more bullish. And this is still favoring bulls. I'll be watching 490 and then 492 as resistance levels. We have support currently at the previous resistance level around this 488 area and then 486. As long as we're above 484, we favor the upside. And this is still looking very bullish. So far, so good from the QQQ. For Apple's also looking more bullish, breaking out towards 220, then eventually 222. I'll be watching how it's shuffling at 220. We'll see if we could close above this or not. It is shuffling here, but it's looking quite good in my personal opinion. I'm going to go back to Tesla. Tesla's looking more bullish overall, getting a nice breakout, at least on the much bigger time frames. But when I zoom in and go to like the 5 minute, you guys can see that Tesla actually kind of pumped and dumped. But don't worry, it's still technically holding up well, and we're still up 5% for the day, so it's okay, even though it kind of pumped and dumped. So basically, Tesla pushed all the way up to 248. We have that as resistance alongside 250. We kind of rejected, made our way back down slowly, all the way down to about this 240 area. Now we have resistance at 242.5 and 244. We have support at 240. If this fails, I'll be looking at 238. So make sure you watch these levels very closely on Tesla and see how we end up holding up. As you can see, we're doing a great job so far. We may just continue to shuffle around this 240 area. The reason why 240 is significant, significant is because we have previous resistance becoming support at 240. So we'll see how Tesla does, at least from there. For a few more tickers to go over, I just want to mention that Supermicro pushed all the way up to basically resistance at 840. If we break this, look for 840, 860, excuse me. But we're looking kind of weak here. We kind of are shuffling here. It is possible we actually dip a little bit lower to the imbalance at 835. So it could dip a bit. It's still holding up well nonetheless, though. For the IWM Russell 2000, watch resistance around 202, and we have support all the way down here around 201.6. I think we might shuffle for now around the 202 range. So we're doing a good job at holding up. For Coinbase, I'm going to zoom out just to show you guys something else on the 4-hour time frame. We basically came all the way down to our trend line of support. I think that we could actually dip a little bit on Coinbase. We might be coming down here towards like the 220 area. We might actually touch this trend line before we try to bounce. So I could see a little bit more downside. Just be a little bit careful of that. To turn back to bullish, you want to break 226. Otherwise, we may dip a little bit lower. Amazon's been dipping a little bit as well. We actually pushed quite well to about the 200 area. We rejected there. Now we're going to be looking at 196 as key support. If that fails us, we're going to be dipping all the way down to 192. But overall, we're holding up well on Amazon. I could be looking for 196 though if we lose 197.5. So be careful. We will see how things develop. For Meta, Meta is once again turning bullish on the 4-hour. It is possible we try to break past 510 and eventually 512 and then 515. We are looking a little bit more bullish, forming a nice cup and handle-like structure, so it could try to push higher. I'm seeing some potential in Meta, so we'll have to see if we can try to break past 510. If we do so, look for more upside to 512 or higher levels. Looking pretty good so far. Microsoft is also kind of shuffling here at the 460 area. I think we could retest this and just shuffle. If you get a rejection, we'll be dipping back down to 457. Overall, it's holding up well, so I see more upside potential, but I think it's going to shuffle for the time being. Google on the 4 hours looking more bullish. We could be pushing all the way up towards about 187.5, but it's looking pretty good. There's a little bit more upside potential, so we'll see how that goes. But I just wanted to call that out. Anyways, for SPY, we're just shuffling around this 550 area. We will see if 550.5 breaks or not, so I'll be watching for that. But with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. Make sure you watch this level, and we will see how things end up developing from here. Thank you for listening, guys. Have an absolutely incredible rest of the day, and I'll see you guys very, very soon, at least for the next video. Don't forget the market closes in about 1 hour. It's going to close early for the 4th of July, so it's going to be closing at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until I see you guys again, have a great day and peace out.